Today we are going to talk about gender equality, and as it was mentioned by Mr. Noguera, I had to give a little bit of science, but I mixed it with art because I am an artist myself, a little bit amateur, but still. So as you see the picture here, you see the link below, and each time I inserted or use such pictures, I was inserting the links, because I think that when this presentation will be disseminated among you guys, you will find a lot of inspiration by using all these resources. So our today's agenda includes discussion of why, for whom, and how the equality is implemented. And it will be with a special focus on understanding of the European Union gender equality strategy, and especially what each of you can do in the gender equality field with your art. So if we can do something with it. This lecture is not an indoctrination. It's very important for me, for you to understand. This is a conversation of giving food for your thoughts. That's why please check below these pictures, the links and the resources which I found for you to use as a useful platform or just for inspiration. So there is a statement which you can see on the screen which says the realization of gender diversity is a long process that requires real effort. Why do you think they say this? I would ask you to write your thoughts in the chat, and we will discuss it during the discussion time later. So now please look at the well-known Agnes Maguire drawing and think about this question: what is the difference between equality and equity? For the first time when I met these two terms, I was surprised why European Union doesn't use equity, because it's more logical. And I hope that some of you will talk about this in the discussion part. However, in the most of policy papers, the European Union uses the term equality. Just fast explanation for those who didn't know the difference: equality means same attitude to everyone, but equity means fair attitude according to the needs. So these are two basic differences. Equality, same attitude to everyone; equity, fair attitude according to the needs. Further, this drawing was interpreted a lot by different artists. Sometimes the objects were people, sometimes the objects were flowers, even I saw. And they were engaging different concepts into this idea, not equality and equity, but they were bringing sameness, fairness. They were comparing this idea to the reality. They were bringing the idea of justice into these concepts, and even they managed to include the topic of inclusiveness, which the last drawing is my favorite. It really is really inspiring. So, however, I'm presenting you these concepts to demonstrate how the means of art may be engaged to point out different angles of the problem. And the main conclusion here I framed with one phrase: despite the differences. So despite the differences, we are trying to reach equality or equity. I love the phrase of Einstein. He said once, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. So think about this. I leave also this video link for you. This is a video which offers the same idea of comparing equality and equity, but they did a little bit different in a video style. So maybe it will inspire you for something. How many countries do you think have already achieved full equality? As you can see from the list, actually none. Gender equality is a founding principle for the European Union, and the promotion of equality between women and men is one of its tasks. Thus, the European Union Charter of Fundamental Rights contains chapter which is named Chapter 3, which is named Equality. You can see there how the equality is seen there according to the policy papers. But here you can see the statement of the European Union President, and she made an interesting statement which you can see on the screen, it gives a good understanding of the European Union position. It says that gender equality is a core principle, but using just half of energy, half of efforts, half of ideas is not enough for achieving it. So now we will see the statistics. I'm a scientist, so a little bit of it. There is a European Union Gender Equality Index. You can find it online. It's updated annually. Here you see the data of 2019. And it shows, it was designed by the European Institute for Gender Equality, and it measures gender equality across the European Union member states in various domains such as work, power, or violence. The 2019 edition reveals that progress towards effective equality is far too low, with 67 points out of 100. 100 means full equality. And the European Union score for gender equality is just 5.4 points since 2005. You can imagine that more than 10 years, and we have moved only 5 points up. So for now, the European Union is closest to gender equality in the domains of health. It's 88 points out of 100, and money, it's 80 points, while gender inequalities are most worrying in the domains of power. Like usually it's only for 51 points. European Union Gender Equality Strategy, which was designed for 2020-2025, is a policy document that sets goal to create a union of equality. It also sets out five key actions which they plan for the next 5 years, and it commits the movement towards achieving a union where gender-based violence, sex discrimination, structural inequality between women and men will become a past. This strategy has a vision of Europe where women and men, girls and boys, and in all their diversity are equal. And the strategy describes it in 3 interesting points. First one, the union should be where the girls and boys, women and women are free to pursue their chosen path in life, where they have equal opportunities to thrive, and where they can equally participate in and lead the European society. You will understand now why we are talking about these 3 points. The implementation of the strategy will be based on the dual approach, which you can see on the screen. It means key actions to achieve gender equality, which are combined with strengthening the integration of gender perspectives in all European Union policies and major initiatives. So what are the key actions presented in the strategy? You can see them on a screen. And also why they're here, because in 2016-2019, European Commission has outlined the strategic engagement framework towards full gender equality, and it was focusing on 5 priority areas, which were talking about increasing economic independence of women and men, fighting poverty among women, promoting equality between women and men in decision-making, combating gender-based violence, promoting gender equality and women's rights across the world. And after analysis of work of European Commission in these domains, they moved toward these key actions which should be presented in a new strategy. The European Union promotes gender equality through development cooperation programs based on the strategies throughout the world, as well as funding internal initiatives as well as funding internal initiatives and projects. The project in which we are participating now is one of the examples when the European Union, through different programs, funds initiatives and projects which are supporting arts. And we will talk later how you can be involved in this as artists. So what art can do? I can answer this with another my favorite inspiring phrase, which comes from Gandhi. You must be the change you want to see in the world. So you as an artist, you can put what you feel into your art and communicate it to the world. What can you point out through your art? This could be positive things or negative. Among positive, you can see I just made a draft of points which you can pay attention to, which you can involve in your arts. These are fairness, justice, equality, diversity, and so on. And negative issues, which you can also blame and point out in your arts. These are marginalization, discrimination, racism for both directions, prejudices, etc. So when you will be working over your artworks, you can have a look at this and think how you can represent, for example, stereotypes. In the end of presentation, I will show you one interesting slide with a view of an artist, how to present a stereotype of jobs. So it must be noted that despite considerable public investment, there remain significant disparities in the level of arts and cultural opportunities and engagement in the topic of equality. And the sector needs to find the ways how to offer the opportunities to collaborate internally for the artists and the institutions and all kinds of beneficiaries involved. This way, the arts and cultural workforce will become more representative for the society it serves. Based on this, I just drafted a list of places or tools or platforms where you can speak up with your art to foster a more inclusive and tolerant society. For example, you can use your own Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or any kind of accounts that specialized art craft websites where you exhibit your arts or you even sell your art. Meeting with other artists or with vulnerable groups. The museums and libraries may offer their spaces for your social incentive promoting equality. If you have any ideas which I skipped or you feel that they may be valuable for the participants, please write them in the chat. We will discuss them later. Now, due to the time limit, we will go more fast through the examples which I collected for your consideration. For example, an asset of National Museum of Women in the Arts in New York. It is the only major museum in the world solely dedicated to championing women through the arts. It addresses the gender imbalance in the presentation of art by bringing to light important women artists who are working currently or who were working in arts before. At the slide, you can see the screenshot from their website where I have highlighted what they offer. They offer the opportunities to explore, advocate. This is for artists, learn, support. They offer also their premises that they can host an event or they are asking you for art submissions. It's an open access website, of course. You can promote not only the topic, but also the art. I'll leave the link to this video where you will see that it's a workshop where an artist teaches to draw a picture from the scratch. And this picture can be also devoted to the topic of gender equality or other kinds of equality. What you see here is the case when United Nations Women, it's an organization together with the European Commission, organized a comic and cartoon competition on gender equality in 2015. The competition invited young comic and cartoon artists and art students aged 18-28 to picture their understanding of women's rights and gender equality through cartoons and comics. You see that here they are showing empowering a girl to do something for her sex. So I adore this cartoon very much. Here is another example of a quality art show and opening reception where the participants could not only engage people or raise awareness about the topic, but they also could meet creators and other artists. And again, you see that one of the key messages which they're putting at this brochure or leaflet, they say, make a change with your art. Two more similar examples. First one is that on the occasion of the International Day of the Elimination of Violence Against Women in the Days of Activism, the French Embassy in Ghana, they organized an art exhibition about the violence against women. You see that the pictures, of course, are not from professionals, from amateurs, but still they're talking about the issue. The other photo which you see, it comes from the exhibition, which was organized by the OSCE mission to Moldova, where they made an art competition and exhibition on gender equality in partnership with local NGO. So artists can also be represented by NGOs. This point, make this point visible for you. The Academy of Music and the Theatre, the local theatre. So they organized this joint exhibition to draw attention of local people. And I was surprised that it was OSCE mission, but still you can see that you can cooperate with such organizations. 9th and 12th grade students were permitted to submit a one-page personal story or written work about the day-to-day experiences that helped make them the person they are today. This was within the second annual Equality Through Art contest within the Garden State Equality Safe Schools and Anti-Bullying Program in New Jersey. This is the United States of America. Students were encouraged to focus on experiences in their family, school, community, or country, and the impact of those experiences have had on making them a more aware, inclusive, and caring young person. Gender equality can also be promoted through social art projects funded by different donors. We have already mentioned that the European Union invests huge money in social projects. What you see here is the example of collaborative art. Collaborative art making is a unique and effective way to mobilize and empower all citizens. This project is called An Artolution. It was a community-based project dedicated to promoting gender equality through real-life examples of, sorry, I have pressed something wrong. How to make this back? Okay. Of environments in which all participants respect each other and have equal power and equal voice. So here you see that this project was happening in India. And what I wanted to point out here is that you know that in India, women have certain limitations in their rights, let's say, especially in representation of themselves within the society. And this project partly involved women, and you see that they even tried to represent it through their arts. That's what I appreciated about this, this project a lot. The United Nations Entity for Gender Equality and the Empowerment of Women, these are two organizations, marked the beginning of Women's History Month by offering a vision of what true gender equality and justice would look like. They have created by the help of different participants, an utopian world, which they called Equiterra. You can use the link, you can explore it more, it's very interesting. You see that they draw it and they also depicted small pieces of gender equal, fully equal world. It's very interesting. There is another interesting example how the researcher and activist can contribute to the topic. I'm talking about the diversity and inclusion versus equity and social justice rhetoric by Dafina Lazarus Stewart. She is a professor of higher education and student affairs at Bowling Green State University. You may read about it more, it's very interesting. I'll leave the link for you. By the way, she uses non-binary gender pronouns ze, zim, and zir, which is not typical for professors, but she is very interested in her rhetoric. And now let me ask you a question. Did you know that 51% of visual artists today are women? It was a surprise for me to learn such statistics. Women are strongly represented and even overrepresented in the cultural and creative sector, or at least in some fields of the sector. However, despite that, the creative sector is far from offering equal opportunities for all. The barriers found in the creative sector for women are not different from those which we observed in regular economic sectors. However, just an interesting fact for you. If you're going to Google something about art history, the participation of women in this will be summed up by three positions. First one, Mary Cassatt's mother and child, and her relationship with Edgar Degas that got her recognized by the Impressionist circle in Paris. Second, Georgia O'Keeffe's Flowers and her relationship with photographer Alfred Stieglitz, who put her in the limelight. And the third one, Frida Kahlo's self-portraits and her relationship with Diego Rivera. That's it. This is where art history, wherever the website stops. This just for your consideration. By the way, do you know, maybe anyone knows what is represented in this photo? It's a woman house, the first public art installation and performance space organized by two women, Judy Chicago and Miriam Shapiro. They were also the co-founders of the California Institute of the Arts Feminist Art Program. Very interesting to read their story and what they did. And again, they gave a huge push to feminism in arts. However, the feminism as a movement sometimes leads to extreme, for some people, solutions. And this leads in different backgrounds and cultures and traditions and countries. At the 1975 exhibition called Women Here and Now, Carolee Schneemann performed an unforgettable interior scroll. For example, if you ask me about this case, I will not remember the name of the artist, but I will remember the interior scroll name. This shocking performance had a character of this blurred line between an art exhibition and exhibitionism. For those who doesn't know, she was putting out this scroll of very tiny paper where were written her poetry, and she was performing this poetry in front of amused public. However, different people may have different perceptions of this matter. And while talking about the gender equality, we must remember about an equality for all. Equality for all means respect of all opinions, including those people who have traditional views. For example, the photos what you see are represented two different things. The one at the right is an example of art festival, which was promoting gender equality, which was highlighting women's role in the modern world, which took place in Baku. In 2019, this program included films, exhibitions, discussions, and a literary evening. However, the picture which you see, it had very interesting and very different understanding of the outcome by the publicity, because you know that the society in Azerbaijan is quite traditional, let's say. Same refers to regular topless protests of the feminist Ukrainian movement Femen, which you can see on the left. The extra unnecessary body exposure within traditional cultural environment of Ukraine are strongly against us Ukrainian women's opinions. They do not agree that a female body should be used in such a disrespectful way. In this case, what I wanted to show you is that it's better not to over promote, because equality is a very comprehensive topic, and equality means respecting opinions of all. Another issue is that equality topic often meets stereotypes, and on these pictures you can see how an artist used specific types of drawing and depicting the stereotypes to point out. It's a very interesting thing, very deep topic. We're not going to talk about it today, but if you're interested, you can search on it more. And a special case to conclude our today's journey is Banksy, my favorite artist. He is unknown. If you know about him, he is solely fighting for the equality and peace. He rose to fame with the graffiti that appeared on buildings across the United Kingdom and later in the world. And these paintings were often marked by deeply satirical undertones. The pictures which you see, he was half, satirical about equality of minorities, but also about police in the United Kingdom. And the picture which you see here has very strong background of history for those people who know. It's about situations when children, especially women in such countries like Vietnam, were suffering during the war. Banksy made himself to be heard by the power of messages he puts into his artwork, and I'm sure you can do it as well. And you need to know that the pieces of walls where he was drawing something are sold now on the auctions, and it's very interesting. And the last thought for you to feed your minds: if graffiti could change anything, it could be illegal. Very deep thought. With this, I'm leaving a huge list of references. Some of them are used, some of them are completely, the majority of them are completely not used. If you're interested, you will see not only the theory of gender equality, but also a lot of art projects and things. For example, how to develop a participatory intercultural project. This is the thing which you can use as an artist. Thank you for your time. You can contact me if you're interested. And I give floor to our moderator, right?